Welcome back, folks. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Getting going a little late this morning. I had some few things I had to take care of, but apologize for my delay. I wanted to get on about a half an hour ago, but it is what it is. So anyway, looking at the markets for today, not going to spend a whole lot of time on it today, just because we're kind of little later on in the week. And looking at the U.S. dollar, we're really, I mean, the past 3 days, we really haven't done a whole lot of anything. It's just, I'll zoom in here a little bit so you guys can see a bit better. Monday came and slammed down here, ripped under this area of price action in here where they had a bunch of stops sitting, and discussed that obviously earlier on in the week. If I can get this to just do a straight line. You can see that there. Monday pushed down, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday really haven't done a whole lot of anything. It's been trading, and it hasn't made it out of this trading range right in here. So pretty much sideways price action, and you're kind of seeing that a little bit. Well, we could be seeing that a little bit more going forward. Again, if you look at the calendar, we are just about the last day in August now, and we've got obviously long weekend this weekend coming up, and so a lot of big money obviously and everything, they're still in summer holidays, and everyone's looking forward to this weekend. So nobody's doing any big moves or putting any big a lot of volatility or risk into the market. So you can kind of see obviously why we're chopping sideways like that. We've got non-farm news events and all that fun stuff coming out next week. So I'm just actually going to real quickly bring up an economic calendar and show you a little bit about what next week is going to be having in store for us, so we can kind of get a handle on it. And I'm going to be trading light next week as well. If I see one, maybe two setups, I'll be looking at that. But for the most part, I think I'll be sitting on the sidelines for next week, because I mean, September's right around the corner here, and things are going to be exciting enough, and I don't think we need to get too crazy and hunt for every single pip out there if we don't have to. Spend our energy where it counts. So looking at today, obviously we've got some late in the day Euro-German President Wildman speaking, and we had a little bit of volatility here throughout the day. I'll talk about that here on the euro and the cable. We had a little bit of movement, and we had some Canadian dollar GDP meeting minutes come out just about an hour ago there, so an hour and a half ago. Today. So that was pretty much how today shaped up. Pretty quiet for the most part. And then tomorrow, a whole bunch of medium impact news events for euro. So we might get a little bit more movement on that euro dollar. I got an idea formulating on that here, and we'll talk about that. But for the most part, that's it for the week. And then going into next week, as I mentioned, we'll just bring this up. As you can see, Friday, all of the high impact news for non-farm average employee. Average hourly earnings, Canadian dollar as usual, and then unemployment rate for the USD as well too. And Thursday and then looking at the week, obviously you can see the Canadian US bank holidays there, so it can be pretty quiet trading on the US dollar. I won't be trading at all on Monday as well. It is a holiday. And then going into Tuesday, we've got some early morning Aussie news, some pretty big market news for the Australian dollar. And then obviously, I mean, just going on into Wednesday, a lot of high impact news events, Bank of Canada news statements coming out, trade balance for the Aussie, and then Thursday, obviously, ADP non-farm employment change, ISM, and crude oil inventory. So going to be a pretty volatile week next week. Markets could be all over the place. And honestly, like I say, if we've got market price action that is pretty much sideways right now, we might get that to continue going on into next week as well. We may not get a breakout of that yet. So just kind of keep that in mind. Keep your trading light. Don't get too crazy on it. Like I say, it's the end of summer. Enjoy the last little bit of summer here. There's no need to go balls out yet, so we're not quite into the fun months yet. But with that being said, had a nice rundown on cable today. Just running these stops out here, taking the lows out from yesterday, and running slamming back into the highs from Monday. Or sorry, the interim highs that were made on Monday. So looking for some rejection here. Now I think what we could see, you can see the slide on Euro GBP. I was hoping to see price come up and jam into this area one more time, this 190.10 area. We managed to get on the high of Tuesday, sorry, 90.97. So we just fell short of that 9100 big figure that I was looking for, and price really fell off. So that's why we're seeing some movement like that right now. As you can see, the Euro USD is banking down right now, and I think we'll probably return back down to this small consolidation area in here. I believe that will, we could even come back down. There's a small little area of price sort of right in here where I think we could see price return back down to, and that would come in at about, if we get further continuation to the downside, 116, 15, somewhere in and around there. We could see that. If we don't see price start to reject in this area here, then I would imagine we'll probably see it continue to fall right down into there. But at the end of the day, as you can see, same type of idea as the euro, as the US dollar. Not a whole lot happening. It's banking sideways, and that's kind of been the trading range for the week. So, if you are trading this, pick small ranges, 30 pips, 20, 30 pips, and call it a day. You could get some nice runs up in here, but you got to be pretty nimble on your feet. So just keep that in mind for the euro. Going into the cable for today, not a whole lot. We had cable really pop higher yesterday, a nice run in it, and I didn't. I was a little annoyed at this myself, to be honest with you. So price yesterday came in, and I'll just move the chart over a little bit here and slide it up. Actually, here, hang on. Got a few things on the chart. A little distracting. See how price came in here at right down here at the low at 128.45. I was watching that level and waiting for a reaction, and what ended up happening, I usually would set a limit order and walk away, but on Tuesday I did that's exactly what I did. I set a limit order at 128. No, I'm sorry, it was this candle right here on Monday's trading. I set a limit order at 128.00, I believe it was, and no, wait, I'm sorry, I'm getting it confused here. 1 second, I just want to make sure I get this right here. It was this one right here. So this was on Tuesday's trading. So I didn't trade Monday. I was watching price. It was moving sideways through the Asian range here. It was starting to drop down, create the low of the day, and I was looking for price to bank off right in here, and I put my limit order in at 128.60, and I walked away. Price came right down to 128.60.02. Did not execute my trade and traded away, and I missed out on a nice 70 pip run. So that kind of drove me crazy. So I was bound and determined to sit and watch the charts, and I was watching it all day through the Asian range. Price dropped down, faked it out, came back up, and ripped down one more time yesterday, and came right down to my entry level, to the pip perfect at 128.45. I would have got an entry had I put a limit order in, but I was bound and determined to sit there and watch it, and I fell asleep. I fell asleep right when price was right, I believe right about here, just this little consolidation range right here. I was just waiting for that small drop down. I fell asleep, and I woke up here when price was trading up into here about an hour later. I was so mad I couldn't believe it, but it is what it is. That's trading. That's summer months for you. So missed this great big move up yesterday. I didn't want to chase that range. As you can see, you don't want to get and start chasing those things for obvious reasons. So anyway, that was Wednesday's trading, and Thursday has been absolutely nothing spectacular. Euro USD was dropping, and this is kind of following suit. It's just kind of slowly meandering south. Euro GBP jamming up quite nicely. I would have hoped to see that we would have, whoops, that's US CAD, Euro GBP jamming down. I was hoping to see another push higher on cable today with this falling out of bed like this, but we didn't get that, unfortunately. So it is what it is, and I'll just see if I grab this. I'm thinking we'll probably end up clearing out most of this range up in here, this movement up into here, and we'll probably come back down, and here, I don't need this. We'll probably come back down and retest this small little 3-panel consolidation range in here, and we may, I'm hoping that it'll garner a little bit of support in there, because I think I'd like to see this run a little bit higher. We're obviously nice obvious trend coming up into here, and so I'd like to see that continue and push one more leg higher if we can get that. So that's kind of you know, the story for today. US CAD, I was actually looking at the opposite on this guy. I wasn't looking for, I didn't take a position on US CAD. I was waiting to see if some of those positions would get run out, and because we did get this sort of later New York run up on the US dollar, I was really hoping that this would have been the high for US dollar and price would have started fading out from there and getting lower into this range down here and taking out some of the lows. Didn't get it, unfortunately. And that's kind of what I was hoping the scenario was going to run on the Canadian dollar. Price was trading weaker in here and just did not seem to want to get higher. And I was actually looking at the there, I'm going to change this. I don't like this color. 1 second. No, I definitely don't like that color. And I was actually looking for the middle of this range right into here to offer some resistance on the upside, and it was doing that in here. It was trading at that resistance level in here, and I was actually contemplating taking the short. It would have ripped down about 10 or 20 pips or so, and we got a nice trade there, but then price, just as of New York open here, decided to springboard off and run all of the stops out, and so that kind of killed that idea. So I'm glad I didn't look at that, but I will be looking into next week, because all that news that was coming out there, as you can see, next week here. So nothing today, nothing tomorrow, but then starting next Wednesday, we've got trade balances, we've got Bank of Canada rate statement, overnight rate, and then into Friday we've got a whole bunch of stuff in there. So the Canadian dollar next week is really going to start moving. And I think that's where we're going to be running down under these lows under here. You see under here how they've come in and really created a nice opportunity for stops to build up in this area. And they're going to run this, they're going to run price up today. More than likely, they'll probably run it right to the bottom of this area, somewhere in and around here, I would imagine. They could even reverse it where it's right at right now, but they'll probably keep price sideways somewhere up and around here, and then I'll be looking next week for them to make that last final sort of push higher and then a drop lower and taking out all of these lows under here. And obviously that's if we continue to get the US dollar to slide lower. It's just about created a nice price swing up in here, this sideways movement here, pop higher, continuation back lower into the consolidation range. This fractal pattern here is almost complete, and I would imagine the Canadian dollar will probably be following suit, and so that's why I'm looking for some of these movements down in there. Crude oil. I went long crude oil. We got a nice little run on crude. I got long in, I sent a signal out, 169.70 in about there, and price was really consolidating in here. It did a final drop down, push lower, took out the lows under this one swing low in the Asian range, and then popped up about 40 pips, so it got a nice little trade off there. I was hoping for higher prices on crude. I was looking for price to run, where are we here? I was looking to see if we were going to get price to run above this high. Didn't quite get it, unfortunately. Put my stop at break even, and price had come back down and stopped it out. So made a little bit of money on there today. Nice little trade. And you can see here price is starting to reject. I came back down, stopped it out, and now is rejecting and moving higher. So we could get another push higher on crude oil today. So I'll be looking for that. But pretty much going to keep it light. Like I said, I don't want to get too crazy on it. You look at S&P making another push higher this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday creating the high, and today trading a little bit softer. You can see price action in here today. Put the day dividers on. Not a whole lot to speak about. Like I say, week is winding down, and so we'll probably see prices trading a little bit softer. And finally here, looking at Bitcoin, this thing has just been really not doing a whole lot. Had a little bit of a price pop in here the past month, and ever since then it's just really failed to go nowhere. And it could be summer trading months again, same type of idea. You know, a lot of big money's on the sidelines, so they're not able to push this thing higher or lower, and so, you know, we're just seeing price running sideways. Same type of idea as the US dollar, right? But we still haven't come down and taken out. We just briefly took out this low here, and there's a couple more lows over here that I'm thinking they may want to run price down to. And you can see how they're building this bottom up into here. You know, bottom, 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 bottom. Prices come slamming back up here, almost closed in this gap. I think we'll probably end up filling this gap in. I've got it marked out on the chart. It's been a little while. It's been they created that gap back in late June, and so we'll probably see price push up one more time. I'd like to see them close that gap, but I would like to see them come down and push lower one more time on Bitcoin and see where we can get price to move down into. So if you're a Bitcoin trader, I wouldn't necessarily bet the farm on going long quite yet. I think we could see price make one more push down just to clear out some of the range into this area here. And I've got this 49.20 level marked out on the chart. That could be a potential. But like I say, I think going long on Bitcoin here pretty soon, I think we'll end up seeing that finally come to fruition. And I don't necessarily think we're going to get back up to 20,000 anytime soon. Maybe one day, but I don't think it'll happen this year. And if we get any money, real money put behind it, we could see price move quite a bit here, and at least coming in and taking out these highs here before the end of the year. That would be nice in my opinion. So that's about it for the markets today. I was hoping to you know, hunt for a nice trade. The only thing I'd be looking at is maybe oil on the day. We could see price come down, create one more run under these lows here. If we get that and we see price reject, I might be inclined to take a small little scalp and see if we can't run today's highs real quickly. But that would be about it. I don't see a lot else. US CAD, I think we'll probably see a little bit of a push up into here, but I wouldn't get too crazy on that. Again, this one kind of surprised me. I was really hoping for a run lower, and it ended up busting 80 pips up to the upside. So I was, like I was saying, I told you my ideas on that one, and we did get a run there. So that's kind of why you want to keep your stops tight. I didn't, like I said, I didn't take a trade or anything like that, which I'm glad I didn't. But I was definitely I was close to doing it. So I ran out these equal highs right here. Bunch of stops resting up there, and a bit of a draw on price, and there it goes. So I think the draw on liquidity for next week will be right under here, and that's kind of why I was hoping they would have done that first, and because they were so close to here. Not that they'd run 80 pips up this way to do that, but anyway, that is what it is. Cable's doing nothing. Euro is still leaking. Like I was saying on Euro. We'll probably end up finishing somewhere on the range today, about 116, 16, 116.15. I don't know why that's 116.16. That's not a significant number or anything, so don't get that one twisted. And that's just to finish up into this range right in here. If we do get continuation lower under this low here, we'll probably easily drop down into there. If you want to take a scalp, you might be able to do that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Like I say, it just swept the lows there. We're coming back into the highs from Monday in here, so we may not get any continuation down. So I don't really see anything today that really excites me. Had a bit of a slide here today, but really sloppy price action. They ran price down, banked it back up, took the stops out, jammed it back down, rebounded off of this consolidation area, popped it back up a few pips, and then rammed it back down again. And not beautiful, clean price action. The only trade I would have saw would be this guy right here, where price is coming up and wicked out into here, creating this, completing this price range, and then maybe a rundown from there for 40 pips or so, but not huge ranges or anything like that. The big ranges all came in yesterday on this move on the cable, and as I say, I fell asleep, missed it, and it's my own damn fault. Can't get them all, unfortunately. You can get some of them, but not all of them, and it is what it is. So, but I'm not really too inclined. I was actually looking at gold, so that was the one thing. Now, Dave usually will come on and trade gold, but he's taken the this week off, and he'll be back at it more than likely after Labor Day next week. So next Wednesday will probably be his first live session back for after the summer. And gold came in here and ran off of this old high rate in here, and so far has rejected. Now, I was watching this yesterday, and I was going to put a signal out on it, but I just wanted to see kind of how far down we would get. And with price really chopping sideways on the US dollar, I wasn't inclined to jump in and take a trade on it. But I was looking for a bounce in this level in here. I was actually hoping that Wednesday would have provided that bounce, and we saw price ran up only to retreat straight back down today to sweep the low. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Swept the lows from Tuesday, Wednesday, and then slam back down into the tops of these this 3-day consolidation area right in here at 1196.50. So I would expect this area to generate a little bit of support. I like where price came, slammed back down. We rejected, came back down, tested these old areas back in here, and springboarded off of that. And then now we've come back down one more time. We're testing these areas here. So again, if we weren't at the end of the trading week, like if this was Tuesday, Wednesday or Tuesday that we're doing this, coming back down into this 1196 area, I'd be all over that for a long, and I'd be looking for higher prices. And I think this is a nice draw on prices right up in here. See these equal highs in here? I think that's a very, very logical area for price to run up to. And that's sort of the longer time frame. It might take a week to get up there. That may be where we're trading into next week as well. We could see price fluctuate up there. But just keep in mind, anything can happen next week. It's going to be a very volatile week next week, I would imagine. And we could even see price return back underneath this low in here. I would have expected price to see a little bit of sensitivity up into this region in here. We didn't get that, unfortunately. As you can see, price thought about it, it came down, bounced off of it, and it was just a very short-lived return back down to here. So, and so far, that reaction off of the 1196 level has been nice here, but I'm not super excited about that yet. I think, yeah, we could see prices come down one more time. And actually, this level right in here, see these highs in here, the tips of these guys in here, this small consolidation range in here. I kind of like this area for price to stretch down to. And that, again, this could be tomorrow, this could be next Monday or Tuesday. But I think we could see prices run back down into here. So I'm just going to hold off on that long idea yet on gold. And but like I say, Dave will be in on Wednesday. He'll be discussing that, and he'll go through that with you. And more than likely the setup will be like that next week. So that's really about it, guys. I wish I had a trade here for you that I was looking at. But as you can see, things are kind of just sort of going sideways. Not a whole lot of excitement. The euro is moving a little bit, but really sloppy. And cable's going sideways. What's the yen doing? I don't really watch this pair, but not much either. Same type of thing. Again, it's the end of summer, guys. Like I say, I mean, this is kind of how you're going to see price. So unless you're in doing scalps for 20, 30 pips in here, like I did on crude oil today, You know, there's not going to be a whole lot of movement other than the one damn movement of the week that I missed, which drives me crazy. But so anyway, guys, if you have any questions, shoot them up on the chat. I've got it up here right now. I'll entertain those quickly. If I move the chat up. But other than that, I'm going to run, get the rest of my day going here, and if I see anything on the charts for tomorrow, I'll jump in. But more than likely, tomorrow's going to be quiet. It's the day before the long weekend, and you know, you want to have all your trading pretty much done and capped by London close today, which is coming up here in about an hour, hour and a half or so. Yeah, so you don't want to be trading anything else if you're not already in a position. I wouldn't suggest you get into one. Save it for next week and after the long weekend. And if you are going to trade, so if you are going to trade, like I say, I'm not trading next week, but if you are going to trade next week, I would not be trading past Tuesday. I'd be looking for a setup. If I see something on Tuesday, I'd get in again real quick, maybe, you know, 30, 40 pips max, and then I'd be out. I wouldn't be doing anything on Wednesday or Thursday, certainly not Thursday or Friday. I would leave it for these 2 days tops. And you know what, there's a lot of Australian dollar news actually out. I want to analyze that pair real quick, if you guys can bear with me for 1 second. I don't know if you got to run, you know, no big deal. I'll probably go through this if I find something else on it. But where the hell is my Australian dollar? Sometimes my my tabs magically disappear, and I don't know why. Okay. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I just want to see, there's so much news on Australian dollar. No, it's not. It's you can see it's just going straight sideways pretty much. No different than what the U.S. dollar is doing. So we had a nice, had a big trading range in here. Price broke down, and so far it's been unwilling to get higher than these lows in here, which is nice to see. So obviously, the thing of it is though, this thing is going down. Australian dollar, the U.S. dollar obviously is going down. Australian dollar should be going up, and we're not seeing that. We're seeing an inverse relationship happening there. So all bets would be off on this one. If we see continuation further down, declining on U.S. dollar, we should really see the Australian dollar picking back up. I was just making sure I had the right pair there. Aussie. Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't see anything here. We got a lot of news happening next week. Left a lot of highs intact here that they didn't run. There's stops above these areas in here for sure. Where are we on the weekly? Price really dropping quite deeply on the weekly chart here. Need a brief retracement, and now we're right back into that level. Yeah, I don't see a lot to get excited about on this chart, unfortunately. We're gonna have, its price is gonna move next week. And if we get a failure to run back down below these lows in here, see this two candle pattern, this rejection area in here, if we fail to get underneath that, or we do one more quick run below it and reject into next week. So if we get price slammed down under this low right here and reject, which is what it should do. I mean, again, U.S. dollar's been dropping, so this thing should be running higher. But if we get a quick retrace down here and a rejection at that level, we could see price run up into here. Now, again, it wouldn't happen next week, but maybe into September we could start to see this if we get that further decline in the U.S. dollar. So I might be watching for that. That could be a potential trade idea. But I'd hate to pick the bottom on it, obviously. But you can see this range that this thing has been trading in. Just a big push down here. Price really trading at a discount. If you pull up an RSI, it's probably telling you this thing is oversold, oversold, oversold. Came back down. We're re-challenging this low, the lows in here. So far it's failed to get under there. Now look at this here. We do have relatively equal lows on the daily time frame under here. So we do have stops resting under this guy here. So that could be the draw, what they want to get to on this run. So keep that in mind. If we lose this low here, then we'll probably end up losing 71.55 on the higher time frame. But that would only be, as I say, that would only be if the US dollar decided to make that next push lower, that we would get that, as you can see here. So if we do get that push lower in this, the US dollar here, and you see these lows, see these equal lows, relative equal lows under here, I believe that's going to be the draw if we see this push to the downside. So here at the end of the day too, this consolidating range in here, if we fail to get through roughly the 50% level of this, so I'm just going to drop a line on that right now. If we fail to get below this 94.20 level, let's make it an even level, then we may not see lower prices on the US dollar. Seasonally it's bearish, but if we fail to get underneath that level there, then we're not going to run these lows here, obviously, and we could see another return to the upside, and this could just be consolidation, like a bull flag type of play with a breakout return and then another run higher. And in that case, we'd be pushing up and potentially getting above these highs up in here. So again, that line, that's kind of that red line would sort of denote that, and you can see that actually comes right back in, coincidentally enough, right off of this high here. So we could see some sensitivity at that level and a push and a rejection. So I'll be watching that for sure going into next week to see what materializes with non-farm and ISM numbers and everything else. So I'll be watching that. If we do get a run lower than that, then these lows in here will get taken out, and then eventually these lows under here if we see a nice push down. So that would equate, keep that in mind, what I just said there and what that picture looks like, and then look at the Australian dollar, and you see the exact opposite of that potentially forming here with this run through this consolidation level in here and potentially that push higher. So that's kind of what I think would materialize going forward into September, and that'd be a nice little range, I think, if we get a failure. 200, 250 pip range, just coming back up into the old lows up in here. So nice little short-term, 2-3 week swing trade on Aussie there that could pan out. So we'll watch for that. And again, if these lows don't get taken out, or if they do come down and just briefly dip into them and reject, I'll be probably getting onto that. So I'll put a signal out for all our members on that one. But have it on your charts, mark it out, and then you'll remember. I do sometimes forget about that because Aussie isn't one that I trade a lot, and I only brought it up just because of again, all the news events coming in on the Australian dollar all next week, the cash rate, the rate statements, and everything else. So retail sales on Sunday, all that fun stuff. And then we'll get back to regular scheduled trading come Monday, September 10th. So we're getting close here, guys. This typically is the busy time of the year with Forex, especially equities and futures. So it should be exciting. Anyway, that's it for today. I appreciate your time. If I see anything jumping out of the charts at me tomorrow, I'll jump on, have a go at it with you. But until then, I will probably be leaving it until next Tuesday, London Open. Don't forget, holiday Monday for North America is coming up. Don't trade it. I wouldn't if I were you. Could be ugly price trading. I'll probably end up going sideways anyway, so nothing too exciting there for you. But hope you guys have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you tomorrow again, I'll be back London Open for Tuesday, and we will see you then. Enjoy the rest of your summer while it lasts. There's only a couple of days left here. So get out and get that barbecue done, or get all that barbecuing in, because winter's right around the corner, and if you live in Canada like me, it tends to get pretty chilly, so I'm going to pack as much summer in as I can in the last few weeks that we got here. So thanks, guys. Catch up to you next week. Take care.